Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is our weekly Lunch and Learn show. And I'm Larissa. I'm here today to share with you 5 ways that you can reduce stress in your life. 5 ways you can reduce everyday stress. And I think this is a huge topic, especially these days. Some people are thriving with the pandemic, others are not thriving as much. And I'm going to show you a few different ways to really look at this situation and really look at this idea of stress. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Larissa McCooch. I'm an author, speaker, and CEO of Larissa McCooch Coaching, and I lead highly successful, motivated people through mental barriers and challenges that they're having into unstoppable confidence, into authenticity, and into complete empowerment, into empowered lives. And so my team and I, we like to rock the boat here so that you can really set yourself up to claim an abundant future. So I'd love to know, just before we get into things, I'd love to know where you are coming in from and one good thing that is happening in your world today. So tell me where you're coming in from and one good thing that's happening in your world today. I cannot wait to hear. Okay. And just as you guys do that, I want to just share a story. I want to share a story because I was thinking this morning as I was really looking at what is stress and how can you reduce it. I mean, there's typical things that we hear, that we tend to hear, but I was really thinking about a client that I used to work with. I used to work in a Pilates studio and I used to train instructors internationally. And then I also used to teach and work with clients individually. And I had this one client she was incredible. And she had a lot of pain when she came to me. And whenever we had our sessions, she'd come, she'd see me, we'd do our magic exercises, and she'd always leave feeling better. And so we worked together privately, one-on-one. And over time, because she was such a regular client, because she was such a good client, and she was very dedicated, she improved. And I taught her things that she was able to go do at home and really start paying attention in terms of self-management. And so she started doing some exercises at home. And then over time, after a period of a couple months, I noticed that she started coming in with more and more discomforts and like really nitpicking on almost everything. And she was agitated so much of the time. So I asked her about it, and she was like completely stressed and a little bit obsessed with this because I found out she was not just working out a little bit once a day. She was actually working out more, like at least an hour a day, sometimes 1 or 2 hour blocks, sometimes even 3, trying to fix herself and fix all her problems. And she was really obsessing over everything. And the more she focused on it, the worse she felt and the more problems she tended to find. And so we switched things up. We got her to limit her workout time each day. And instead of really trying to fix her problems, we started focusing on getting her to feel well. She still did a lot of the same exercises, a lot of the same routines. She was just more effective about them. And the key thing that we started doing is as she did them, I got her to really focus on how her body was loosening up between exercises, how it was gaining more mobility, how she was breathing fuller, how her joints were looser, how her body felt stronger. And that simple shift really led to her body feeling better more of the time and her being more empowered with everything she could do. And this started with physical things in her life. And then she also noticed that, like I noticed, because I took notes after sessions, that over time, she started improving relationships in other areas. And there was a lot less focusing on what wasn't working because she was able to really translate the skill into other areas of her life. And one day she even came in and she told me that she had the courage to pursue one of her lifelong dreams just because her body felt so strong and so capable. And she was just feeling like she is on top of the world. And so, yes, hello, Kelsey. Hello, Michael. I love the I am statements that you're doing. And you guys have been writing. So amazing. If anyone else is joining us by replay, type in hashtag replay in the chat as well so we could welcome you afterwards. And if it's your first time, just type in first time so that we know that it's your first time here. And So why am I telling you this? I think the story I shared about this client was, it was a really beautiful picture. It was a really beautiful example of making a simple shift and having a powerful result, taking yourself from really stressed and focusing on all the problems going on and having it exacerbate itself into this state of empowerment. And I want you to ask yourself, have you ever felt like you've been under a lot of stress? Right? Maybe you're facing some big changes, whether they're good changes or bad changes, good and bad changes, they cause stress. Maybe you're worrying about something at work, in your finances, or in your family life. And you feel like you have no control. Maybe you feel overwhelmed, right? These are things that all lead to stress. You might just want to say, screw this, right? Screw this. I want to walk away because I don't know what to do, right? And you see some hope that, like, way at the end of the tunnel, and because you've seen people live rich, joyful, abundant lives where they're at ease, they're making progress in their life, and they're smart, they're intuitive, they have energy to burn, and they get so much done in a really patient way. And if they can do it, so can you, right? So this morning I was speaking with someone, with one of our clients, and she was saying, she's like, yeah, I've released over 70 pounds. I'm more than 70 pounds down from when I first started. And I am so glad that I made the decision to step up. And she is 70 pounds lighter physically, and she is also 70 pounds lighter emotionally, and in so many other ways. She's like, I feel good, I feel vibrant, I feel energized, I like my life, I love myself, and so many other parts of her life have changed as a result of this one decision. And sometimes we can get addicted. I know growing up, I lived in a high stress environment, and in fact, I got addicted to it because I just didn't know any other way. And when I started expanding my awareness, really expanding it and increasing the circle of people I spent time with, I'd meet people from all over the world. Some were mentors, some were trainers, and others were peers from classes and communities I was a part of. And there were always a few that really stood out, who were totally congruent, who were just, I love to just sit back and observe them. I love people watching sometimes. And when you just sit and watch a sea of people, you can notice beautiful nuances in their energy and in their state of being. And there were certain key people that no matter what happened, they never got stressed. They were always calm, no matter what was going on. And when you start to get into this level of observation, right? I know prior to that, when I heard people just say, oh, you just have to relax or calm down, it would stress me out because I didn't know how. And so the more I started to learn about stress and really perceive it differently, the easier it got to get out of that state of stress. So I want to just share a couple of things specifically related to stress here so that you just understand the context. And then I'm going to give you 5 really cool ways that you can reduce it in your everyday life. Okay, so stress essentially is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. Okay, it's tension in your body, and it can come from any event or any thought. Okay, so an actual physical event or even a thought that can make you frustrated, angry, or nervous. And often the thoughts you repeat, they get more and more stressful because you repeat them and repeat them and repeat them, and all of a sudden you've got a whole soap opera going on. Okay, it's how the brain, stress is how the brain and the body respond to any demand in your life. Okay, it might be a performance at work or school. So you might be giving a speech, or you might have an important meeting that you're presenting at. Maybe you have a significant life change, like a birth, a death, a job change. You're moving houses or locations. And essentially any event can be stressful. So I want you to just think about some of the changes that you've had in your life, either recent or past, and they might be good or bad. I want you to pop them in the chat. Let me know what some of the key changes are that you've had in your life that have been big deals, big events. Okay, because good stress and bad stress can happen, but any change can and will cause some level of stress. Okay, now the thing is, no matter how calm someone is, stress does affect everyone, and it has to. It's built in our biology, and not all stress is bad. So, for example, when you're in danger, stress signals, they actually prepare the body to face that threat or flee to safety. So signs that you are in stress or in this fight or flight mode are the chemicals of cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine. They increase in your body and they cause you to breathe faster. They increase your alertness, your muscles, they tense more, your brain, it uses more oxygen. So you might start breathing a little faster or a little even more shallowly. And it increases your activity. So this is all aimed at survival response. And in non-threatening life situations, this can actually be motivating to you. Okay, so it can be a good thing. It could be that jolt of energy you need, right? Michael quit his job and gave notice to leave his apartment. Congratulations. So really exciting. And also there's going to be some changes, right? So lots of opportunity and also some changes. And Kelsey, increase in financial obligations. Yes, like that can really easily cause stress. And you might notice that stress in that area is causing stress in others, and things that may not have appeared stressful before are all of a sudden starting to exacerbate themselves, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple of things to look at. So I hope you have a pen and paper handy, okay? So I think one of the things is I was talking about being addicted to stress. And when you're in that addictive phase of stress, long-term stress can actually be harmful to your health. Short-term, we need stress. It can be a good thing because it can be motivating. It can get our backsides in gear, and things can really, really move us in a stronger direction. It can be the kick in the pants that we've been looking for. Long-term stress can actually harm your health. And this is because stress is constant. The body does not get breaks. And when the body is always in that state of stress, when the body is always in that fight or flight mode, it doesn't know what normal is. It doesn't actually have a baseline, and it doesn't have a normal resting state. Okay. And so this, when you're always in that high stress zone and you don't give yourself a break, that can lead to immune disruption, digestive disruption, cardiovascular disruption, sleep disruption, reproductive system challenges. So you might feel really emotional, sleep poorly, have some gut issues, and even be just really irritable. And in extreme cases, it leads to things like heart disease, high blood pressure, and even potential mental disorders. Okay, so that's when it's really, really extreme. But we do need to go up and down. And so when we keep coming down to giving our bodies a break through some really powerful strategies, we at least allow us to be able to recalibrate ourselves. And so what I want you to do is I want you to write down, and maybe someone can pop this in the chat, allow stress into your life wisely. Okay, allow stress into your life wisely. Okay, and you want to embrace it when it's there, and don't invite it in when you don't need it, right? Don't go looking for it when you don't need it. I think it's really about ebb and flow. There's going to be a rise and a fall, kind of like the tide. Okay, that works with the law of rhythm. And ultimately, when you start paying more attention to some of the things I'm going to share with you in just 30 seconds, you can really start to make more empowered choices, because it's not about obsessing about stress. It's really about recognizing it and moving on. Okay, and sometimes really focusing on stress and keeping your stress down can actually be more stressful in and of itself. So first thing I want you to do is take responsibility and live life at cause. Either last week or a couple weeks ago, I did a live where we were talking about living at cause or effect. Okay, so you want to take responsibility for whatever it is that you're stressed about, because ultimately it is what it is, and you may not be responsible for it. Maybe you did something that wasn't so intelligent, maybe you didn't. And you can't control what happens in your life, but what you can do is control and be responsible with your reaction to it. And sometimes in times of stress, we look to external circumstances and internalize them. So we look at our financial situation and start to look at everything else leading to it and exacerbate and make things bigger. We blame ourselves, we blame others for getting into this situation. And ultimately, we are co-creators of our reality, but we want to take responsibility for it and really step into things from an empowered state. Okay. So how we respond is going to be key. Even another thing, whenever we are in a state of blame, whenever we are looking at other people for impacting us instead of taking charge of how we respond, maybe you had an interaction with someone and something happened that you didn't like or you didn't desire, and it's not how they respond that's something you are in control of. It's how you respond to the situation. Did you take their perspective? Did you step into their shoes and look at it from another side of things? Or were you just so focused on your own side of the story and on your own problem at that time that you were really living life in that victim place? So take responsibility and live life at cause, because when you do live life at cause, you will never be a victim again. And honestly, some of the worst things that have happened in my life have actually been some of life's greatest learning opportunities. They didn't always feel like it at the time. However, I've chosen to step up. I've chosen to learn from them. And as soon as I started doing that, life got really, really good. Life got really interesting. Life got really, really curious. Okay, so take responsibility and live life at cause. That's step one. Step two is get objective and look at the facts. Okay, so I mentioned sometimes when you have thoughts, they start to spin and they start to spin and they start to spin. You have one thought and it goes into another thought and it goes into another thought, and all of a sudden you're repeating the same thought over and over and over again. If that's a good thought, you want to keep doing that. If it's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. This is such an amazing day. I am so phenomenal. You want to keep doing that. You want to do that over and over again. If it's not, you want to really get objective and look at the facts. Okay, so often if there's an undesirable situation, like literally write it down. We do a lot of writing in the work that we do, because when you're in your head, you're going to create drama. When you put it on paper, you can actually do something about it. You want to really look at the facts. If you're in a business situation, look at your actual numbers. If it's a financial situation, look at your actual numbers. If it's like maybe pros and cons to something, actually write them down so you can evaluate them, because you're going to start seeing different solutions. And when you start getting into the actual data, when you have real concrete data, if you think someone said something, actually look back and maybe look at the text message thread, or really think back to what exactly those words were and what they really did or potentially did mean. Maybe if someone said something you didn't understand or didn't agree with, go ask them about it instead of making something up. So you want to really get objective and look at the facts, because when you look at the facts and just step outside of your situation, it's almost like you're looking at it from a fly on the wall. When you're in your situation, you can get really emotional. But when you step outside your situation, you can really start to be discerning and make better decisions, because you take the emotion, you take the negative emotion out of it temporarily so you can look at it as an observer. And this is often why some people can see your situation better than you can when you're negatively emotionally involved. When you have a positive emotion, keep doing it. Okay. So step one, take responsibility and live life at cause. Step two, get objective, look at the facts and put it on paper. Step three is practice consistent extreme self-care. Okay, so really, really huge, really, really key to reducing your everyday stress, because when you practice consistent extreme self-care, extreme self-care is a term I started adopting for myself probably about 10 years ago. And it was some days it looked like going for a walk. Some days it was doing affirmations. Other days it was reading a book or having a bubble bath. Some days it was calling a friend, and other days it was just being alone. And I think different people fuel themselves and recharge their batteries in different ways. So you want to really look at what recharges your batteries and do that consistently. Okay, the things that bring you the most joy, the things that bring you the most fulfillment in life, when's the last time you did them? And you may or may not be in a situation where you can do them. How can you modify them or adapt to some of them with where you are right now? Okay, because if you're not filling your cup with things, then you're going to be depleted. And I think another part of extreme self-care is really calming down to speed up. Okay, when you calm down to speed up, it's almost like you step out of that fight or flight mode. That's through processes like meditation, or even just sitting in quiet for 15 or 20 minutes, which might seem like an eternity to some people. But when you do this, you actually give your mind, you give your world the space to come up with the answers. That doesn't mean looping your stories. That means sitting, non-judgmental, and just being. Okay. So extreme self-care is huge. Calming down so you can speed up in a positive, productive way is so, so key. Okay. So really look at what fuels you. I'd love to know what some of your favorite self-care practices are. So share that in the chat. What are some of your favorite self-care practices? Like I said, I know mine are reading, journaling, going for walks. I could walk all day. You'll find me in my neighborhood reading a book and walking. I've got my highlighters. Sometimes I'll read with a reading partner, or I'll just be the one walking around the neighborhood with a book. It's my thing. So what are the things that you love to do for your self-care? And maybe what have you forgotten about? What do you want to do more of? Okay, so step one is take responsibility, live your life at cause. Step 2, get objective and look at the facts. Step 3, practice consistent and extreme self-care. And step 4 is put the good stuff in to get the good stuff out. Okay, you've got to put the good stuff in to get the good stuff out. And that means in your mind, body, and soul. So in the mind, that's things like books, learning, podcasts. What are you ingesting in terms of information every day? Are you scrolling social media, or are you reading positive, powerful books, right? This is one of my books that I read on a regular basis, right? It's very well loved. I always have piles of books all over the place that are really fueling my mind with good thoughts. So if I'm down, I always open a book, sometimes to a random page, and I find exactly what I need to get me out of a negative spin. Okay. And that helps me move on to the next step so I can move in a positive direction. So what are you putting in? If you're listening to the news, chances are you're going to be focusing on things that are not helpful. Okay. So you got to keep putting good stuff in. What are you putting into your body? What are you fueling it with? Are you drinking enough water? Are you drinking sugary drinks, right? Sugary drinks are not going to be helpful to balance your hormones and balance your energy. Is your blood sugar level? Are you ingesting toxins into your body, like maybe smoking or drinking or sugar or excessive wheat? Those things can help pull you down and really impact your stress and your mood. So are you feeding your body with premium fuel? Are you moving your body consistently to be able to flush toxins out? Are you feeding your cells nourishing fuel, right? Through the movement, through breath work. And even with spirit, that is, a lot of times people connect to spirit either through prayer or through meditation, or even just connecting to nature, going outside, doing a gratitude practice. And breath work can also help connect you to spirit a lot more powerfully. So putting good stuff in consistently, just like practicing extreme self-care, you've got to be putting good stuff in to get the good stuff out. Okay. And sometimes it's easy for us to forget this when we're in times of stress, because we might think we don't have enough time. I love it. Yoga, reading, journaling, meditation, getting outside, traveling. Beautiful. Morning pages, streamline, meditation, artist date, and exercise. Yeah, those are some really, really beautiful practices. So step 5 is living in alignment. Okay. Living in alignment. You've got to have goals and really know your standards and live by them every day. So you want your thoughts, your feelings, your actions to be all aligned. When you have goals, you want everything that you do, everything that you think, everything that you embody and invite into your world to really align with those goals. And that might mean learning how to say no, setting boundaries and sticking to them. And often when we make boundaries, we actually need to keep them. Some of us make temporary boundaries and then we go back on them, and then we blame other people for the circumstances not working out. Well, when you are ultimately in charge of your life, and when you set a boundary, it's your responsibility to keep it. So you got to learn how to say no. No is a complete sentence. This one took me a while. I know it's taken many people a while, but that will really help you live in alignment so that everything you do, everything that you invite in your world is in alignment with your goals. And we're actually, with our clients, we're going to be doing a boundaries boot camp soon. Right now, we're really focusing on daily success habits that can change your life. So this is a big theme. And everyone's like, yes, we need habits. We need to really improve our daily habits. So they're eating this up. So that's what we're focusing on with my group clients. And we're going to be getting into some boundary work. So if that's something that you need help with, or if that's something that you're curious to learn more about, then reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. We can certainly, it's free to have a talk. It's free to have a chat and see if there's any way that we can help you. Okay, so just to recap, step 1, take responsibility and live life at cause. Step 2, get objective. Throat is dry. And look at the facts. Step 3, practice consistent extreme self-care. Step 4, put the good stuff in to get the good stuff out. Step 5 is live in alignment. And that, when you really step into those practices, when you really, really do that, these are 5 ways to reduce your everyday stress, because it's not about fixing things when they go wrong. It's really about doing things on a daily basis to get to that point of prevention. So when things do go wrong, we'll say, you have a faster bounce back rate. You don't live in the negative. You might go down and dip, and then you jump right back up. That's essentially what this is. You are a human. You are entitled to a wide variety of emotions and experiences, and you should have them. But you want to be lifting yourself up. You want to be moving towards your magnificence, because you were put on this earth to do beautiful, to do magical, wonderful things. You were here to be more, do more, and have more. And you really, really, truly can make a huge difference in your life. So I want you to live in alignment. I want you to put the good stuff in to get the good stuff out. I want to see you practicing self-care. I want to hear all about it, and really getting objective so that you can take responsibility and live your life at cause. And if like I said, if you want to chat more about it, if you want to know how you can do these things even better in your life, if you want some feedback on your current situation, then book a call with me or my team. Just direct message us or say, want to chat, in the body of this talk, and we are happy to reach out to you and see how it is that we can help you. This is what we do each and every day, and sometimes it can feel stressful, or it can feel lonely being in a situation and feeling stuck, not knowing how to get out of it, right? Just like the client I was telling you about earlier. We were working together with her. She had all this knowledge, yet she got into the spin where she was so focused and so hyper-focused on fixing that she found more problems to fix. And sometimes that's how we get. And until we course corrected, things weren't able to change for her. It's all about course correction. And she ultimately was able to train, and in her, I think she mid-60s, late 60s, she actually did climb Mount Kilimanjaro. And she'd had a couple surgeries prior, and she did a fantastic job. She was a total champ, and it was literally something she dreamt of doing her entire life. So anything is possible. Anything really, really, truly is possible. And there's nothing more than I would love to see than for you to live the dreams that you desire, because you absolutely deserve them. So if you've got stress in your life, we can take care of that. This is your opportunity to deal with it, to get objective and take charge of your life so that you can move forward and get ahead. So reach out to us if you want to have a chat. We would love to help you and show you how you can move yourself and your life and your business to the next level. Bye for now.